Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Little Noir. Apologies if the audio may skip out. For some reason my computer's been doing that, and I think I should get that checked. How you guys are faring with the snowy weather that is outside, because I can't really see anything aside from what's on street level. Like, I can't see the park that's across the street, really. I can't see buildings that are, like, across the way. It is just pitch white outside, and I have to go out for an interview in a bit. So I don't know how I'll fare out on the train, since those might be slightly out of commission. But anyway, this isn't my typical anime review. Well, kind of isn't, kind of isn't. I'm actually doing a review of an anime movie. Alright, so, um, I believe I heard about this movie one on Facebook, because of course, when something anime is popular, any anime pages on Facebook talk about it. I think I also heard it from Joey the Anime Man and Aki Dearest. But basically, it's taken me a while to watch it because it wasn't released in released like in the US, as in released online all the times I looked it up, but now I finally got to see it. So I finally watched the movie Your Name. It was actually I had to stop a couple times because I really started crying. It doesn't look like it because it took me about like an hour to finally calm down, but I actually started crying because this movie is so heart-wrenching. I mean, yes, it probably doesn't happen to people, but just okay, just hear me out. So basically, the movie centers around Mitsuha, who are the same age from two very different places. She and he lives. Basically, Mitsuha is not exactly happy with her living condition. She lives with her grandmother and younger sister, but she's only unhappy because her father is the mayor of their little town, and pretty much most of her classmates ridicule her for that, and the fact that um, she she basically has a public image to keep up in terms of her father, and he seems to have no really. So I really didn't like her father because all he is mostly concerned about is his political career. In fact, we get a flashback on what happened throughout her life bad between um that that was something I expect, but I'm not gonna spoil everything, and I definitely will leave sorry, leave the link in the description down below as to where I watched the movie if any of you who have not watched it are interested in watching it. Anyway, Taki is a kid in the city who basically is quick-tempered, crude, um, and like I said, he is also a high schooler like her. So, for some reason, these two characters keep swapping bodies, so they each live for, I believe, a couple times a week. For Taki, since he, like I said, he's crude and has a quick temper, he put he puts that as his advantage when he's in Mitsuha, silencing her bullies when they're when they're talking bad about her. He's pretty popular while he's in her body, so guys and girls like her. Um, of course, his frugalness with money, since he's a city cat within her body. But on the other side of the spectrum, Mitsuha in Taki's body is a bit strange. Like, of course, she's a country girl, so anything about the city, she basically her impulses kick in. She always wants to be in a city. In fact, when she graduates high school, she wants to move to Tokyo to go to college. So while she's in Taki's body, she's taking pictures of all the things she has money, working all his shifts at work, which he has to work extra because she spends money as fast as he can get it. But like I said, she's a country girl and she has never experienced city life. So basically, as a I guess as a boy, she said that his body eats more than her body would. So she just eats what she wants to eat, basically. Which is actually kind of funny because I heard somewhere that guys have a higher metabolism than girls, so um basically they need to eat more than we do. Um but yeah, they start leaving each other messages. Um yeah, they leave messages basically. Like in her notebook, he kept writing, "Who are you?" So while Mitsuha was in Taki's body, she wrote name. So after a while, they both started checking each other's phones to see that they both have like diary entries to each other in there. After a while, they actually started realizing that they keep swapping bodies with each other. So they set a couple of rules, which don't ultimately get followed, but gets followed the best of their abilities. Was a scene where the two kind of met on a train, and the hair ribbon that she wears, she tossed it to him so he could catch it, and she woke up in his body. So we get more of an insight into that. Um, but what really made me, it was funny at first, but what really made me cry was the fact that, um, what is it? Was the fact that the day, when, in a flashback, they actually did reiterate more on what happened the day that they met on the train. Um, it turns out she went to Tokyo to see him, and I believe she was in high school, and I think he was studying either to get into high school or get into college. Um, he had no clue who she was, but then when she was leaving the train, he called out to her. She had to quickly tell him her name and use her hair ribbon to tie their fates together, I'm guessing. But in that iteration of history, she went back disappointed, cut her hair, and went to this autumn festival where the comet that we see from time to time in the movie actually broke a piece of it broke off and hit the town that she was in completely yeah, almost completely destroying it, and basically she died that very night. So it's basically after that like a race against time in each other's bodies. That's what made me cry because basically he keeps drawing the landscape that he's seen through her eyes, and when he actually gets to see her, it turns out that her entire town was destroyed 3 years prior, so it's her last day alive. That is exactly where I had to pause the movie and cry my eyes out because it looked like they were falling for each other, but the fact that they both come from literally two different time periods is heartbreaking in itself. The ending of it was perfect, and my heart was racing as Taki and Mitsuha's body basically raced against time to save her. And then they actually met, like, I forget what they call it. Oh my gosh. In a sense, it's like Twilight Time. A time like where two different worlds were open. So like the living and afterlife were open to each other, so they got to meet each other. But it was very brief because they didn't have much time. So Mitsuha went through with a plan Taki came up with to help save our town, and um, we see Taki in his actual body in Tokyo the very night the comet struck Mitsuha's town. 8 years later, he's graduated college, looking for a job. Meanwhile, he's feeling that he's looking for someone but can't figure out who it is because they both forgot. But like I said, we get a happy ending, and well, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, like I said, this movie is so heart wrenching yet so good. I really, I really do wish I lived in Japan because then I probably could have seen it sooner, but it's fine. I saw it now, so that's all that matters, and I'm definitely gonna watch it again, and this time watch it with my boyfriend because he kind of likes stuff like this because he and I both kind of read like romance stories, and this probably wouldn't inspire him, but it definitely would inspire me to write a romance story. Not like this, but like probably something else. I think I had the idea a long time ago when I was in high school to write a story about two characters. I couldn't figure out if I wanted them to be both male or both female, or one male and one female, to have some kind of strange meeting where um where something happens and like they start communicating with each other. But ultimately, in a sense, this movie does remind me of the few episodes in the anime Dusk Maiden of Amnesia, where the two characters, oh my god, Yuko, who is a girl who died 60 years prior to meeting the protagonist. Oh my god, what's his name? Nia. Yeah, him, Nia. But her ghost haunts the school, and only he can see her. But he ends up getting in contact with her darker side, which is which was her excised dark emotions, and seeing the past through her eyes, like day that she lived, and how much she wanted to help this little girl and ended up suffering as a result. Um, Basically, after seeing her dark memories, and then something happened, and after a while, he can still see her, but she can't see him. So, in a sense, this movie, Your Name, and those couple of episodes in the anime do kind of do in a sense kind of correlate to each other, except the only difference is these two characters, Taki and separated by 3 years instead of just being classmates in the same place. I'm sorry if I confused anyone, and again, I do deeply apologize if the audio skips around for some reason. It's been doing that, and I have no clue how to deal with it, but I am going to talk to someone who might know how to fix it. Excuse me. Anyway, that's this video. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe for more content. Once again, I apologize if I confused you or if the audio skips. And if you are going outside in this snowy weather, please, please be very, very careful. Hopefully it stops before the day ends. But like I said, just be careful. Be mindful of where you're going. If you're going out alone, of course, let someone know where you're going. If you're going out with friends, keep in contact with them in case of any kind of emergencies, because like I said, in this weather, anything could happen. Be safe, be happy, and I will see you all in my next video. Luna out.